As the fall harvest season comes to a close, farmers find themselves with a lot of free time on their hands, right, Erica?
Sure, always.
It is the time of year, though, when a lot of trainings and events are happening because it is a bit slower as we head into winter. Erica Bierstrom is here. She is an agriculture agent for Kewaunee County through the University of Wisconsin-Madison Division of Extension. Good morning.
Good morning.
So you send out a great newsletter. If people haven't signed up for that yet, I advise you to do so. But one of the things that caught my attention was calf care, because as the temperatures change, we do need to reassess some of that.
Yes, the big things we want to remember with the babies, especially those newborn babies, is when we need a jacket, they need a jacket. So that's really important. Keep that in mind. Have plenty of jackets on hand. The other things we want to do is to make sure that when they are born, to make sure they get those 4 quarts of colostrum, quality colostrum. The navels are dipped, and we're doing this for all calves, the beef, the dairy heifers, and the dairy bulls.
And is that specifically because they are still kind of living together in the same operation? We want to make sure our entire herd is healthy?
Yes, of course, and then we really want to get those babies off to a good start. It's not fair for them to skip that first meal. They don't thrive after that. Another thing we really want to make sure for those calves we have on hand is to make sure they have plenty of bedding. We should not be able to see their legs in the winter. That means they have enough bedding.
Now, it's tempting to put them indoors and move them to spaces, but ventilation is still critical in the winter. What do calves need when it comes to fresh air?
Well, we need to have depending on how big they are, we need to have a certain number of air exchanges per hour. But if they're outside, we want to, again, make sure they have plenty of bedding and have those coats on.
Is the hutch still the gold standard? Is that still what you guys, if people are out there trying to make a determination?
There's been a lot of progress in indoor housing as well with calves. It really depends on the farmer and what works best for them.
And is that something that your team can help a farmer make an assessment of if they're looking to maybe put in some sort of new calf housing?
Yeah, we can help out. It depends on who's in the area and where they're located, but we do have people who can help out with that.
Well, let's move on to a few of those trainings. The Beef Quality Assurance Program. Introduce us to this, and who is someone that should be signing up for it?
Depending on who and where people sell their animals to, they may or may not need BQA. BQA is required by certain buyers. So if they're not sure, they should check with their buyers and see if a BQA is required. We have BQA training coming up on December 1st. There's 2 locations. One is in Luxembourg at the Kewaunee County Fairgrounds, and the other one is in Coleman. It starts at 5 o'clock. If they need to sign up, please call Kewaunee County Extension or Marinette County.
Now, there's been a lot of changes in the past year and a half when it comes to training, specifically the pesticide trainings. They were online, and now there are options for virtual and in-person. What do we need to know about those coming up?
We have a lot of people coming up who have licenses expiring at the end of the year, so we need to start renewing 2 years worth of people. And we have a lot of different options. And if people want to check out their local training, there will be one on January 13th in Luxembourg and one on January 14th in Green Bay.
Okay, so those are the in-person options. We do have the Zoom trainings as well. We're going to have links to all of those for you. Erica, who is someone that needs this training? Do you recommend this for anyone who is going to be handling chemical?
Yes, for private pesticide applicator training, that's what we're training. If it's someone who's a commercial trainer, they need to go through DATCAP. Okay,
sounds good. Okay, anything else in the months and weeks ahead that we need to have on our radar, or just watch that newsletter?
Yes, watch newsletter. We have the CAFO meetings coming up in February on the 15th and 16th, so keep an eye out for that. And we have the Animal Wellbeing Conference on February 22nd at Farm Wisconsin Discovery Center.
All right, a great place to connect is by starting with your local UW Extension agent. Erica has shared all of her information with us, but it's extension.wisc.edu, and from there you can connect with your local community. Thanks for the work you're doing.